it's Chinyere here. So guys, today I'm doing my abortion story. Yep, once again, another story that I never ever thought I would even be talking about or telling, let alone on YouTube. So with that said, if you're not comfortable, or if this is a trigger, or if you just downright don't like this subject, boo, don't watch. And by all means, don't waste your criticism on me. Send it to somebody who actually cares. And another disclaimer, if you're looking for a sad story about this, guys, don't watch this because I have a totally different outlook on a lot of things, so this may not be what you're looking for, and I may not be giving off the impression that you're looking for. I don't live by you. I'm gonna go about things however I want to, and however it is however it is, and however you want to take it is however you want to take it. I've had time to compress things. It's literally been like a month that this has already happened, and I don't dwell on things long. It doesn't mean that I don't care. I'm just one of those person, I take things as they come, and I know how to deal with things as they go. So the way that I deal with things may not be the way you want me to deal with them, but you're not me, and I'm not you, and that's why we lead totally different lives. Some behind a blank face. Just saying. Let's get a couple things out the way. I don't really post a lot on here, like everybody knows that, but if you're new here, hey, and you don't know that, I kind of post sporadically, but I'm gonna change that. I've just been having some things going on in my life right now, and sometimes I post a whole bunch, and then I'll literally have a dry spell where I won't post nothing for weeks. Then I'll post a whole bunch, and then nothing for weeks, and then that's just how I do it a lot of times. But now I'm gonna start spreading out the whole bunch so that I don't go too long without posting. You know, I'm working on it. Alright, so if you guys did not watch the last video that I posted, I will link it over here in the little box, and I'll link it in the description bar. Pretty much, I just told my pregnancy story. I told the story about the pregnancy up until the abortion and my decision making. That was it. How people misinterpreted that, I have no idea. Like, I literally said at the end of the video that yes, I am technically still pregnant, because yeah, people, if I take a pregnancy test right now, I would still come up positive as pregnant. So I was saying that I am, and that in the next video I would explain it to you. So here we are, guys. This is the next video, and I'm explaining everything. Not because I have to, but because I want to. I want to educate people, and I also, like most of my videos, people who just don't agree for no reason and hate people for like no reason. Listen, it's gonna take a whole lot more than you to shut me up on here, so just keep trying. Like, that is like, that's not gonna stop me from talking about issues and things, especially that are affecting women, because let's be realistic here, we take the downfall for everything. A lot of videos that I watch, especially with pregnancies, people come down on the women so much more because obviously men are not involved in the child making at all. Like, literally on my comments, everything was you. Nothing was about the father. There were literally like 5 comments asking about his ethnicity, and out of those 5, 3 were from the same girl who was just relentless, and I ended up having to block. Then there were like 3 more comments that were like, he ain't shit, because of the way that he reacted to the video. So yeah, the other like thousands of comments were literally going toward the woman. And of course, this is America. This is society, and that's just how people look at us. You know, because we are literally the blame for everything. We literally, like, men take no part in nothing, you know what I mean? Which is another reason why I was like, bitch, I'm not about to listen to social media about anything. I did, however, disable the comments on my reaction videos simply because I led everyone to my vlogging channel. I didn't want people to subscribe to me thinking that this is going to become like some pregnancy channel or some channel where I'm constantly talking about abortions. I didn't want people to think that. So that's why I led them to the vlog channel, where it's like, okay, well, you can kind of see my journey, see what was going on before that, and kind of see my thought process, and watch the vlogs and see what you think, and hopefully it can help people. But people were not obviously going to that. Like, a lot of people went there, but definitely not a lot, because so many people were confused and people were even accusing me of lying. It's like, bitch, the video isn't on private, so obviously I'm not hiding. I just don't fucking feel like posting when you feel like it and you're upset and entitled. And then also on the video, a lot of people were trying to give me like talking about prenatal vitamins, saying you need to do adoption. It's like, bitch, it's already been done. Stop shoving your opinions down my throat. I don't give a damn. I don't care. So it's not that I can't handle your truth. It's simply because it's already been done and you're still commenting the same thing and you're not even looking. You're literally just commenting ignorantly when the link's in the bio, the link's in the video, and it was like the top comments for a while before I disabled it. I kept telling people, hey, go to this channel to see my decision and see how I went about it. I kept saying that and people still weren't even going to it, even though I was replying to the comments and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to let this one go. I would just post videos and whatever people say, they're gonna say. And I've watched the pros, obviously, of YouTube, and I see how they did it. They post a video and they keep it pushing on to the next thing. They don't even reply back to comments and all that stuff. They just post and whatever happens, happens. Alright, so let's talk about everything. How am I gonna go about this? You know what, I'll talk about a little bit about the beginning, my thoughts and everything. Okay, yeah. Okay, so when I first posted a video, like most of my controversial ones, I didn't think about it. I just posted and I thought, oh, okay, you know, another video, blah, blah. And then things kind of like blew up a lot. Like, I didn't know that it was such a big topic or that people felt so passionate about it. Why? So that's why when I saw some of the comments, I was surprised and people were like, murderer, or I looked up to you and now I don't anymore. And it's like, what? Did I tell you? Like, you pick your role models. You pick who you're gonna look at and you're gonna like, and that's who's gonna help you to mentor your life. Your role model doesn't pick you. So if you chose me as a role model and you think that I can't do no wrong, boo. I never preached that on my channel. I am not going to be the girl that's going to be like, you should be here at this point in your life. You should be here at this point. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. And if you're not doing that, then honey, I'm sorry. I am not going to be that girl. I am literally just a 24-year-old black chick that's talking about her life on YouTube. And I'm not saying that it's bad to choose me as a role model. That just means that you're taking life as it comes and you're watching other people and getting inspired. Like, that's pretty much what I take from you. So if you're upset at me for making a life choice about myself, then that's all you. You need to pick somebody else. And it's so funny that people were talking about me being a role model when after I posted the video, so many YouTubers, big YouTubers who I literally was caught off guard and surprised. I didn't know if they were subscribed to me or, you know, the video was shared or something, but I got emails, I got private messages, all kinds of stuff, and they were telling me, like, for example, I don't want to get too much off subject, but I am going to say this. I received 2 emails that really stood out for me. I personally have watched for years. And they told me, well, I haven't been an avid watcher on YouTube, so maybe like the last like 8 months to a year, you know what I mean? But I know that they've influenced a lot of people. One of them was just giving me a quick story. They were just saying, like, you know, how they have a newfound respect for me and that they were like, you gained a new follower and blah, blah. And I was like, okay, you know, that's cool. That's nice. Thank you so much for reaching out. And then one of them said, if I were you, I would have done the same thing. And another person actually said that they've done it 10 years ago or like 8 years ago or something like that. And it was, you know, they made a mistake and they got an abortion and that they never felt guilty about it, but that they felt guilty that they didn't feel guilty. And it was just surprising to me because you have no idea what's going on in people's lives. And this experience honestly taught me that. And I found a new respect for that person after they told me that, because it's like, and they said that they would have loved to talk about it, but because of the ridicule and losing things and, you know, whatever. I don't have much to lose personally, so I can go all out on my channel. I can talk about whatever the fuck I want, but I totally get it. Like, I get it. You have a brand to protect. You have these things. But it just sucks that making life choices that could simply even better somebody's life could hinder your money. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, it's crazy to me. So yeah, it just reminded me, like, whenever somebody says something about me being, they looked up to me and all that stuff, I'm like, girl, you have no idea who you're looking up to, literally, because people on here will show you what they want to show you, and there's nothing bad about that. You know what I mean? Because some people, makeup is their life, and that is real life. Makeup may not be realistic to you, but it is to some people. I mean, I'm wearing it right now, so it is a part of my life, and this is the real me, you know? And some people think that talking about your life stories helps them to relate to you. Some people think that wearing your eyeliner relates to them. So one thing I've gained from this is that, you know, people cannot handle the truth, and that's just is what it is. You literally can't handle the truth. You think you can, and you think you want the real until the real hits you in the face. face. And like I said, when I was getting called the murderer, guys, it literally reminded me of that Sex and the City scene. What was that scene? Like when they were wearing the fur? Wait, let me see if I can find it. Okay, yeah. That scene, just so ridiculous, so out of control. I literally was just laughing, but I was also responding like, bitch, shut up. I mean, and mainly those comments were coming from like either older women. There were some other amazing older women. I won't just, whatever them. I'm talking about, they were like mainly older women who were like, murderer, who were actually showing their face. And then the younger people who were shouting that had no face at all. So it's like, bitch, you're the most opinionated, but you won't even show your face. That shows how much you really stand behind what you have to say. Come on, girl. And then another thing, like when I was watching other YouTubers, like I just knew social media isn't somebody who obviously you should go to for anything, because there's this one YouTuber and she's pretty big and she's like a year or two younger than me, and she just had a daughter and she's quote unquote pregnant by a deadbeat. They fight over social media all the time, and people were telling her that she should have gotten an abortion. Then there was another couple. They got famous because the husband put the pee stick in the toilet, and they ended up having a miscarriage like days later and posting a video, and people were accusing them of lying. They were accusing her of not being woman enough to even carry the baby because she couldn't do it full term. All kinds of stuff. And I'm like, these people are so back and forth. Then there was a girl who actually got pregnant before she was married to her husband now, and they vlogged their life, and she just had a son. They had a daughter, then they had a son. But people were saying that she forced him into getting married to her and that she didn't get married in time. So social media is a more, in their eyes, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But not to us. We're living our lives and people are just spectators of it. So that's why it wasn't affecting me. Like, people thought I was like really getting affected. I'm like, no boo. No boo, no boo, no. I was just kind of like, no, like it's not that bad to us. Like, we're literally just living our lives, and people who are invested in it are, thinking, but no, now I see from the other end, like, I'm just chilling. And, everybody's like kind of like up in arms. It's just the weirdest thing. So that's why I don't like talking about things while they're, I guess, quote unquote hot. I just kind of just, take it as it goes or whatever. All right, so let's talk about how everything happened. So on, I think it was like April the 7th, it was a Thursday, I got the call from the doctor and he told me I was pregnant. Now, if most of you guys are new here, you wouldn't know, but I actually do medical studies, and I went in there for a screening. And when you do the screening, they tell you everything. I mean, they can even tell you about your DNA and tell you whether, your child is going to have, be special needs or not. They can tell you anything about what kind of blood type you have. They test for hepatitis C, everything. So anyway, I went in there. He called me and was like, the normal like levels for pregnancy hormones is 5. Yours was at a 2,000. So he was like, you are definitely pregnant. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was just like, why? I was really surprised. Even, it doesn't matter. Even if you're doing everything to get pregnant, all the kind of stuff, but you're still surprised you're pregnant. Like, even people who are trying still get surprised. People are like, why are you surprised? Bitch, it's a surprise, okay? Either way. So we talked a little bit. He told me I was 6 weeks. That later on proved to be wrong, but he was just doing a simple pee or blood test or something. When I went to go get my ultrasound, I was actually 4 to 5 weeks, closer to 5, but that was like 4 days later. So at the time of the call, I was actually at 4 weeks, but I'll get to that. So after that, I called the dad, and I mean, people were upset about his reaction, but guys, I was not surprised because I know him so well. I mean, I was surprised at how quiet he was, but he was like in complete and utter shock. Now, he did kind of ask like, were we intimate around that time? And I was like, shut up. Yes. Like, he was like, we not using protection around that time. To be honest with you guys, I don't remember, but that's not even what this is about. Well, however I was on top, on the bottom, we was doing it. So he wasn't one of those guys who's gonna be like, well, that ain't my baby and I need to see proof and all that stuff. He's not like that. Like, he knows that I'm not gonna lie about this. He knows my personality. So he asked me what did I want to do, and he asked me if I had thought about it or anything. He was pretty much cool with whatever choice I made, so he says, but I know this man and I know he's full of shit. So I was just like, abortion, and he said, okay. He says, so he's like, I've never been this experienced before. And I said, neither have I. I've never been pregnant, And he's just kind of like, oh, he just was, guys, he was just very calm about it and just too chill for my liking. Like, I'm kind of like, you know, shaking and sweating, and I'm just, you know, I'm just confused, and he's not really giving me anything to kind of go off of. So that was one of the signs that I knew that we don't, you know, need to have a child together. Then after that happened, I think we talked that night or something. He was asking me about the doctors, and I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna see this weekend. The next day, Friday, comes around, and I just start calling around clinics and stuff. I had only heard of Planned Parenthood, so I just didn't know, you know, any other choices. But I went online, I found some places, and I ran across the Houston's Women's Clinic. So I looked at video reviews, I looked at actual reviews from people, and I said, you know what, I'm going to make an appointment, and if I don't feel comfortable, I won't do it. You know, I'll find another way or whatever. I called them, and the lady said that she's had an abortion. I was on the phone with. I don't know if she was just saying that, but she said that since you're so early, you can do the pill or the procedure. She recommended the procedure because the pill makes you have a miscarriage at home. I was a little bit nervous about having a miscarriage at home because I wouldn't, you know, I didn't have my local doctor. Oh, about my local doctor. My doctor doesn't do like abortions, and then the person that she recommended me to, she said that they didn't have another appointment for another like week and a half to do it. And I would be like at like 6 weeks at that point, and it's gonna hurt more, so I really just didn't really want to wait. So that's why I did it like that. When I got to the place, me and my mom drove there. She didn't know what I was getting done or anything like that. If you're new here, it's simply because my mom, she talks a lot. That's why I just didn't feel comfortable telling her it. She's not a mean-spirited person. She's just not like that. She's not rude or anything, but I just didn't feel comfortable talking to my mom about it. Like, not yet. Like, no. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want my whole business. Like, for me personally, I feel like with your children, you have a totally different bond. Like, if I had kids or whatever, whether they're adopted or my own, I feel like there is a loyalty aspect that you owe to your children because your children don't ask to be here. So I feel like in a weird way, even though I'm doing an abortion and you're like, oh, you're contradicting yourself. And no, bitch, I'm not. It wasn't even an embryo. But anyway, I feel like there's a loyalty aspect that you owe to your children once they're here, like to, you know, feel more protected or whatever. And I don't feel that with my mom, and I never have. So that's why I was like, you know, I'll tell her later, you know, when I feel like it. So I get there, and that was the first ultrasound I had ever had in my life. I signed some papers, and I had to let them know that I was going to have a ride, because the way that they do it is you do the whole, you know, consultation, everything that day, which was a Monday when I went in, and then on that Tuesday is when the procedure is done. Now, I kind of jumped from Friday to Monday, but guys, Saturday, not much was going on. I think I didn't talk to him again until like Sunday. He sent me $800. The procedure was actually $600, but he wanted me to get a room to have like food and gas and, you know, things like that. So that's why he gave me like the, you know, I got the extra $200. Then he gave me another like $60 later on down the line, a few days later. But yeah, so when that Monday came, I went in, like I said, signed papers, and while I was in the waiting room, I was sitting next to a couple girls. Now, the girl on the left of me, she was actually pregnant. She told me that she had had 2 pregnancies prior. Now, quick story time inside of a story time, y'all. I never really thought about abortion. Like, when I was younger, it was like, oh, well, you know, this is just a thing. I didn't even know what it took to get an abortion. Like, what did you need to do to even get it? Like, I thought it was like an illness or something, and they had to, I don't even know what I thought abortion was. I never thought about it, needless to say. So when I was younger, the first time I ever heard of it, I was about 8 years old or 9 years old, and I was watching this Christian movie. And pretty much, y'all, I'm drinking coffee out of a straw because I really don't want to mess up my lipstick too much. Oh, that coffee is so good. But anyway, the girl was pregnant. She didn't want to be pregnant anymore because she was Christian and she didn't want her family to find out. So she went in and had an abortion. And she ended up like stumbling out like, and then she died. So I thought that, like, for the longest time, not recently, you know, obviously, But for a long time, guys, I never thought about abortion, but whenever the subject ever came up, I just thought, oh, you know, well, that person's dead, because I didn't think that you lived after it. I thought that you just die. So when I got into high school, and I was still a virgin like all through high school, and one of my like friends, like associate friends or whatever, she ended up getting pregnant, and she said that she had an abortion, and I was like, you're still alive? Yeah, I was like 16 at the time. I didn't know that you still lived afterwards. So and since I hadn't heard anything since that story, that's all I ever thought, like, wow, people died because of this. And she was looking at me like, bitch, yeah, I'm still alive. And I'm just like, look, I don't know. Okay, she doesn't know that I don't know. So when I got older and I started seeing other people, like the same girl I saw on Facebook, and she had a child, and I was like, what the fuck, you know? I never thought about people even being able to have children because you're dead after the abortion. So that's what I thought. So when I see her now and she has 3 kids, I'm like, wow, so she's not infertile and she's not dead. So that's to give you guys kind of an idea. And, you know, until I hit like 20, you know, when I got to like 20 years old, I knew that you can have children after abortion. Like I was like less ignorant. But the difference between me and other people is that if you're ignorant, you learn and you use it towards something else to help people. You can be ignorant and still be fucking around and being a dumbass. So that's not what I chose to do. I'm not ignorant anymore, so I can help people. So anyway, this rolled around. When I got older and I started meeting more people who had gotten abortions and had multiple children and weren't dead, I didn't mind like putting on the poll, like, yeah, for abortion, yeah, it's a woman's body, because I never felt entitled to another person's body to tell them what they want to do. Some people think that breast implants are bad. Some people think that body modification is horrible. And, you know, and I could say almost like, well, as long as you're not hurting yourself, but you are hurting yourself and you're putting your life at risk. And that's just things that human beings do. It's everyday life. When you get in the car, you're putting your life at risk. When you get on a plane, you're putting your life at risk. Literally, if you just wake up, you're putting your life at risk. So just don't wake up if that's the case. So anyway, when I was sitting there and I was talking to the girl, it brought me back to flashbacks. Like, wow, you know, this girl is actually here to get an ultrasound. But she had actually been at the clinic years ago to get 2 abortions. She said that she did the pill and she did the actual procedure. But that now she's pregnant and she's just getting a sonogram. And it gave me hope. Then the girl next to me, she was getting her 2nd abortion. And I was like, wow, you know, okay, so obviously people can still have children. Okay, you know, of course that's not a case scenario for everyone, but I'm just saying. I go in there, they sit me down, and I'm waiting for the doctor. I do my sonogram. After the sonogram, they took some blood out of my finger to do an anemia test. I was anemic, which, big surprise, I'm always fucking cold. Then I sat down, talked to the doctor a little bit. His assistant talked to me more. Then I went in there and I did the consultation. In the consultation, she talked to me about everything, like what to expect, what's going to happen, the process, and she actually explained the entire abortion process and procedure and how it's done. She said, we're going to give you some pills, it's going to dilate your cervix, and it's going to soften it. That's where the dilation comes in. And what they're going to do is he's going to take a thin, like, suction thingy, and he's going to suction.
So I'm going to take a look and I'll let you know what I see like weeks afterwards. If you want to see, I'll turn the screen, but it's up to you.
Okay.
Just try to relax.
You didn't have to record anything or no?
I'm going to take images for our records. If you want an image, you can ask the counselor for an image and they can give you a copy.
Okay.
Okay. You okay?
That's the first time I get it. Well, it was hot. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ticklish?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Almost done.
See anything?
I'm just trying to get a good image. Okay. Do you want to see the ultrasound?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it looks like anywhere between 4 to 5 weeks. So right here, that little black little circle there is called a gestational sac. inside is where the embryo is, but as you can see, it hasn't reached embryo stage. That's normal because it's just that early.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's too early to do it.
No, we can do it. We can do it. I'm gonna bring this in.
He's gonna suction it out, and then that's it. Now, I was very naive. Even up until that point about abortion, I thought it was an actual procedure, like surgery. I thought they're gonna cut me open, put me under anesthesia. That's what I thought to get the baby out. I didn't know that it literally was just a suction. Didn't know. Then she asked me, she asked me what I wanted to do. I told her that I didn't want to do the pill, and she said, okay, that's fine, She explained to me the pill also, that the pill just pretty much makes you miscarry at home, that you would take pills there, then they would give you pills to take home, and what time and everything. And she said, don't do anything that day. And then she said they could also, sometimes the pills don't work, and then you would have to come in to do the procedure also. So I was like, oof, I think I'm just going to do that. Then she explained to me my birth control options. Now, y'all, I have to be honest with you, like I always am. I thought that birth control was extremely expensive. Now, if you don't have insurance, yes, it can be. But the birth control that they gave me was $9 a month. And it's for a 30-day supply. It's $30 for every, 30 days. So that's what I'm saying. And then she said, you can do Mirena. She was giving me all my options, and they gave you a really large discount for Mirena. So I always thought that because people, talk about how birth control needs to be free, which, y'all, I totally agree. Because if they're giving out condoms like that, I feel like birth control should honestly be free. It may not be the type of condoms that you want, just like the free birth control, or the really, probably wouldn't be the one that you would necessarily want, but it's free and it's there to use. So, so we're hoping this, just is effective. But, I'm thinking it's like $500 a month or a one-time $700 fee. That's what I'm thinking that birth control is. But when she told me that, she told me I had my other options, and I was like, well, I don't have that type of insurance, I knew that I had more options. Once again, I'm ignorant about this type of stuff because nobody's ever told me. So I'm telling you. So I leave the place, and I drive to my friend's house, and I explained to him that, I would be needing to go back to the women's clinic tomorrow, and I asked him if he could take me. My friend kind of was like, I know what you're getting done. And I was like, no, it's not that. I told him that I was getting a thing implant, and like a birth control implant into my arm. I told him that. He said, yeah, right. And I was like, no, I'm serious, for real. And he said he had actually taken one of his friends there who was pregnant, and she just really didn't want kids or whatever. So he knew what the place was. But you can also get regular care there. So, I told him. So he takes me there. They make him sign a slip letting him, agreeing that he would come and pick me up. And I go in there. The first session was $100, which was the day before. Then this session, I gave them $600. They didn't want me to pay while I was still woozy, so I just gave it to them up front. And I went in there, and it was just a bunch of hurry up and wait. And guys, this was no glamorous situation. Some of the people that wrote me and told me that, they had a book to write in to help them ease, whatever mind thoughts they were having, or that, their facility was this and their facility was that. This was not a bad facility, but it was not glamorous. They had a lot of women that were just, out of it, and that was kind of weird. I was like, why? I am so nervous. Like, how can you be sleeping at a time like this? All of them were out of it. So I went in there, and it was just a bunch of hurry up and wait. We sat there, and they came in, finally called my name after 30 minutes of sitting, and they explained to me what's going to happen today. Then I go back and I sit down. Then I get right back up, and she gets my, she explains to me, so this is your birth control, this is when you need to take it, this is some ibuprofen because you may experience cramping. Then she tells me, she starts to administer the pills to me. She says, okay, so this is to help you to calm down. Didn't work. This is gonna help you to, and then you're gonna put these two pieces into your mouth, and it's going to dissolve into your mouth, and that's gonna start the dilation of the cervix. That was in the bathroom scene where I was telling you guys, I'm here, blah blah. That I'm, right now I'm just waiting for my cervix to be dilated. The pills tasted like tissue. It was nasty, but everybody was extremely nice, so I felt okay. I went back, I sat down, and it was just another waiting game. Next to me was a woman. She was an Indian woman, and we were just talking a little bit. And I was like, what are you doing here? You know, are you getting the same thing as me? And she says, I'm getting an abortion. And I said, oh, really? She said, yeah, I'm married 4 years. And I looked at her and I was like, married people? So I was like, okay, shut up. So I was like, really? Wow. You know? And she said that she was in college, but it just was not the right time and everything. And she said that she was not taking birth control or anything like that, you know? So, you know, it just happens. Things just happen. And we talked a little bit more. And, you know, she had to go back there. So, everybody was dilating. Everybody was just out of it, woozy, you know, all of that. And I finally, after like 3 hours, I started to like kind of doze off and go to sleep because I was literally bored to death. And all the sleepiness around me was actually starting to catch up with me. So finally my name gets called and they are like, hey, Irma, it's your turn. So I'm like, okay. So she calls me up there. I get up and I forget my bag. And I'm like, oh, I forgot my bag. And she's like, well, go get it. So I knew right then that she was about to be a bitch. I get my bag and I walk into the, you know, actual room where things are going to go down. And she's like, take your pants off. And I'm like, excuse me? So she's like, take your pants off so we can start the procedure. And so then I'm like, okay, you know, she was just being rude. Like, it was 2 girls and they were just being rude and nasty. And I was like, okay. So, and then I said, oh, I need to go put my stuff in a locker. And she's like, they didn't give you a locker? So at this point I was like, no. You know, I was starting to give her it back a little bit because you need to stop being so rude. Said, no, they didn't, you know. So they gave me a locker. And I sit up. So they tell me to go sit on a table. I wasn't sure like how they wanted me to sit on there. So I just get on there. She's like, move back. And I'm like, bitch, I've never done this before. I'm not some abortion pro, okay? And so then she keeps telling me like, move back. So I move back and then they prop my, you know, I lay back and she tells me to put my legs up. And they prop me up on that thing. You know, like your feet are here, like when you're about to have your child. They put my legs up. And I start getting really nervous. So I guess they have to rush you because they know that you may want to change your mind, maybe, I don't know, or they may be like, you know, this isn't, you know, I don't know, they want you to not be so nervous, to just hurry up and get it all over with. So I lay down and before she starts my IV, I'm like, one of the girls said that, you know, whoever did her IV is still hurting. Like, this girl, this has been a month. She was actually there for a checkup and she said that her IV hurt like a bitch still. I told her 12 o'clock, shallow, you don't have to go deep. She's like, I do these 30 times a day. And I'm just like, damn, y'all making bank. I'm in the wrong business. And I just, okay, sorry, that was so tasteless. Sorry, y'all. So yeah, she puts the IV in my arm and it kind of hurt. It hurt when she stuck. She's like, it's just tape. I don't care about the tape. I told her this. I said, I don't care about the tape. I care about the needle hurting me, okay? So she puts the tape on it. I kind of lay back and I'm just out of it. Like, they administered the anesthesia, whatever, I don't know if it's local, and I literally don't remember anything until they woke me up. They woke me up, they're like, okay, wake up, and they kept the IV in my arm, and I'm like, what's going on, you know? And she's like, put your pants on, and I'm like, what? She's like, put your pants on. And so put them on, she helps me put them on, and I get up and I start walking over to this area where you sit down at. And I'm just kind of like out of it. And I'm just, I don't know, everything just came crashing down on me. Like everything, like the whole situation. Like how I didn't want the dad to be there, even though he was like, he wanted to be there, but he was in Boston on a business trip, and he was like, telling me that maybe I could push the appointment when he came or whatever, but I didn't want to. And then just me being in this whole situation, it was just, I was just so frustrated. I'm like, what, like, why, you know? I had literally hadn't had sex in 10 months. Like May would have made it, no, or like June or something like that. Like the end of May would have made it an entire year no sex, simply because I just didn't, you know, when you're busy and stuff, you don't have sex. And when I'm busy doing stuff and I'm like kind of one-track minded, I don't have sex. So yeah, that's what it was for me. And then on top of that, they were just being so rude and just like, you know, maybe you don't agree with our decisions, but you work here, and they were just being just rude about everything, you know. So I just started crying like uncontrollably. Just I couldn't control my tears. It wasn't like it was just more like they were just coming down and I was just so annoyed and just like I just hated it. I just hate that I even have to be here doing this bullshit. I could be doing something else and I'm doing this, and that's why I was so frustrated. And that's just how I think. And so I get up and the girl comes in and she's like, I have to check. And I'm like, can you guys take this IV out? It was hurting me so much. She's like, you know, I can't do it right now. But she takes my IV off after I've laid down for about 20 minutes. And then she gets up and she's like, I have to check your pad. So I say, okay, you know, I get up and I'm like, I'm bleeding a lot. And she's like, that's why I have to check it so that, you know, it's not a lot of blood. If it's more than 2 pads of blood, it's not good. They checked it. Everything was fine. I took a bunch of pads with me, a bunch. And then my friend, he was there outside to come get me. And he took me back. You know, we were on our way. I was trying to play it off like I was trying to really seem awake, but I was out of it, you guys. He takes me to go get a smoothie, and then he took me to go get some KFC, and then I get to the house. I'm kind of drinking on the smoothie a little bit because I was so out of it I couldn't even really chew hard enough. So when I get out the car, you know, I get out slowly. I stand up, try to get my composure, and I just start throwing up chunks everywhere. Like mainly smoothie because I hadn't really eaten. I don't think they really wanted you to eat. But yeah, they wanted me to eat like a light breakfast, like toast or something. But yeah, I was just throwing up. Because I don't work very well with pain medicine. Pain medicine always makes me really sick. I always throw up with it. So I'm like, I don't know how y'all can be addicted to that. But yeah, I was just throwing up. And he helped me go upstairs. And I just fell out on the bed. Like, fell out. And then when everything was over, you know, the dad had texted me because he wanted to know how everything had went. I didn't really want to talk to him about too much because I felt like he was checking on me because it was his duty, not because he wanted to or like he genuinely cared, because he didn't. He just wanted it to be over. He didn't want to know nothing about the appointments. He just wanted to make sure I was okay. He didn't care. So my mom comes, and I don't want to talk too much about my mom because I just don't want to seem like I'm just mean to her. But she was just being so loud. Like I had literally, guys, this pregnancy gave me horrible gas, just terrible gas, which one of the reasons why I didn't want the dad to be there is because you guys, what you didn't know in the video, when I had told him about me being pregnant, I hadn't talked to him in a week. We didn't talk because we had like a fun day. Literally, we went, we got ice cream, then we had got some pad thai, and we watched movies all day. The pad thai got to us, especially him. He had to go to the bathroom. Then, you know, he was kind of like having bad gas. My gas didn't kick in till it was time to go to bed. Because I was pregnant and because I'm lactose intolerant and I was eating ice cream and I had the pad thai, it was giving me horrendous gas. And it started happening too late in the night. I couldn't go back to my roommate's house, so I was just there at his house. And yeah, the gas was really bad. Like, even I didn't want to be in the room. I kept going in the bathroom all night just to pass gas. I didn't have the boo-boo. It was just really, really bad gas. So he was just being really rude. He had slept in the other room, whatever. He also wanted like sex, and I was like, no way. I'm not in the mood. So anyway, he was in his little argumentative mood. And the next morning, he came in while I was sleeping and just started opening all the windows and just... Anyway, it was stupid, right? He's petty as fuck. So I didn't want to talk to him about anything. I didn't want to talk to him, nothing like that. And so we hadn't talked. Literally, he asked me about some headphones. And that was like the last time we talked, guys. And that's why in the video you saw him asking me about headphones. He thought that's what it was. But no, he had texted me and told me that I had left mine. And also, guys, he had a weird attitude problem. Like one time I remember we got into like a little argument and he literally threw his large flat screen and it hit the corner of the coffee table and it just smashed. So he ended up the next day buying like 3 different TVs, one for the living room, one for the second bedroom, and one for the master bedroom. So he had like a huge attitude problem, like, and it was a big TV. I mean, it was like 80 inches. I don't know what's really big, but it was like, it was like 4 foot long. It was huge, maybe 5 feet long. Maybe not 80 inches, but you guys know what I mean. It was like 60, 70 inch TV. It was very big, flat screen. Anyway, he just smashed it like it was nothing because he was upset. And then sometimes he would literally rip his shirt like the Hulk if he didn't get his way in an argument. So those are just little things that happened over a span of years that I just didn't really think of because I wasn't really dwelling on it. But it just all came down at this point. Like I knew what I needed to do. So anyway, after that, you know, my mom, anyway, just stuff was happening. I was trying to get some sleep, guys. I had a hard time sleeping for the last couple months. And she needed stuff, so my friend went and helped her, and I was just trying to sleep, and I couldn't really get sleep. And I will include some clips in this vlog video about the day after. You know, I rested up, and the next day I just wanted to be home, so I drove home, and that was it. And I wish there was more to tell about the story, guys, but there's not really much more to it. The dad did text me because he wanted me to know if I wanted his friend to come get me, and I was like, nah, it's okay. I'm just gonna have my friend do it. He asked me if he could come down there, and he was like, no, because of his attitude. I know that he would have tried something with me. Like, he wanted me to get a room and all that stuff, and I just know his attitude, and I really didn't need that extra amount of stress with him because he'll turn and like at any second. And it'll be for dumb reasons, and he doesn't care. You could be literally under a rock being smashed, and he'll be yelling at you about something that happened, like, you know what I mean? So he's just not very sympathetic, and I don't feel the love, and I don't feel loved by him or anything like that. So it's just like, you know, we're good on that. You know, you can just stay where you are, and I'm gonna stay where I'm at. You just send the money, and we're good. So yeah, after that happened, I think he called me like for 3 days afterwards. He just texted me. He was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And that was just to do his duty. And y'all, today is May 5th, and I have not heard from him since like the 16th of April. The 16th, after all that. So I put up with all his bullshit for years, and the man couldn't even give me a phone call because of some farts. And y'all want him to be the daddy. No, we're good. We're good. He is Mr. Petty Teddy Betty, and we're good. Like, I don't want that in my life. And to sum all of this up, guys, this is literally the story of a person who did not know that it wasn't the right time until the time came, and that was me. I was going the whole relationship just trying to like work on things, and things were actually getting better. But like that with somebody who's trying to get better, like rehab, you can immediately go back into your old ways. And that's what he did. He really showed himself. Like, things were getting a lot better, guys, honestly, in our relationship. It started off amazing, then it was horrible, then it was like okay, and it was getting like better. So, you know, in our relationship, we were, and it's crazy because at the point when I was pregnant, I didn't even know I was pregnant. Me and him, we were talking about like in the next like 4 years we would like to be married and stuff, and he was talking about it with me, you know what I mean? So it's like, it was just too up and down for me. Like, I knew that at this point it needs to be yay or nay, that our issues needed to be fixed. They weren't fixed, so I made the decision, and you know, and he just agreed with it, and he's totally happy, guys. Listen, he's not sad. He gets to go on with his life, and believe me, buddy, you got off really, really easy. Like, obviously I could have put him on child support because I already knew it was going to be a relationship, but I don't know, I just wanted to go on with life. Like, some things, it's like, it's kind of like when you have, I don't know, if you're going through a divorce and like they give you the options of, do you want to do this, do you want to do that, but then they give you kind of, I hate to say it, guys, and this is going to sound really insensitive, the easy way out, just to like take the take the settlement, or do you want to fight this in court, or do you just want to walk away with nothing? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm fine. Like, I don't even feel like I lost anything. I know what I want, and I know what I need to do, and I've learned a lot about myself. For me to make a decision like that, oh, there's a fly. I opened the door while we were cooking. Bad idea. But I am the most indecisive person in the world, and I get it from my mom. That ain't the only thing. Whoop, whoop, just playing. But I'm very indecisive. So for me to know right then that I did not want this for myself and for us, I knew I was making the right decision, guys. Believe me. And I do not regret it one bit. The simple fact that he hasn't called to check on me, he literally just did what he needed to do to make himself, like, to ease his own conscience, to ask me what I needed and for him to pay for it. Because, guys, in the beginning, he wanted me to partially pay for it. Because I was like, I said I would help pay, right? Of course I didn't mean that shit. Like, come on. I was like, I'll, do that. But he was like, okay, so how much can you do? And I'm like, nigga. And then I thought about it. I called him back and I was like, look, to be honest with you, you're the one who pushed the whole sex thing. You're the one who was pretty much using the fact that I had a horrible roommate at home and that, I hated being home all the time, and you were using that to your advantage, and you were pressuring me about sex. Now listen, I know I'm a 24-year-old woman, but guys, listen, sex pressuring does not end at 16, like in your teenage years. No. Niggas will still pressure you and push for the sex. So it doesn't stop at that age. Come on. Like, no type of pressure stops at any point. People will be pressuring your ass at 50 to be doing something with yourself. So the pressure doesn't end, anything doesn't end at a certain age. And I told him that, you were preaching friendship, and that's what me and you were on the road to doing and stuff. It was just that. So anyway, guys, he succumbed, and easily he said, you know what, no, I'll pay for it. Because he knew damn well he was wrong. He knew it and stuff. So yeah, guys, that was my pregnancy story. Once again, I'm just a story of a girl who did not know that it wasn't time until the time actually came. So I'm hoping that you all will just use what I've told you and take that in stride and use it to your own life. Like, look, what am I doing right now? What do I need to do later on? You have the options. You have everything. It's literally at your hands. There is birth control. There's contraceptions. There's condoms. There's all types of things that you guys can do to prevent like all of this bullshit. And honestly, you need to protect your body physically, but you also need to protect yourself mentally, emotionally. Make sure this person is nurturing yourself. And I totally get it. I've been in that position where I've needed people and they've taken advantage of that need. So listen, guys, I totally get it. But make sure that you know what you're doing, you know what you're getting yourself into. The reason why my feelings aren't super hurt right now, they're not hurt, I'm not like sad or anything, is because I knew what I was doing when I made the decision. I knew what was up, and I was well aware of things. Even though he tried to act like, he was conning me, I wasn't being conned, you know what I mean? And he was a good friend for a while. He helped me, guys, he helped me out of some really, really, really big situations. And he was very giving, and I didn't have to ask. But guys, when the decision came down to my baby, my heart was what really did it. It wasn't nothing financial. It wasn't nothing like that. It wasn't like, I know how to hustle. It was nothing like that. It doesn't, you don't think about, like, it's not that. When it comes down to your child, my mother instincts kicked in, even though I knew I wasn't going to have the baby. I just knew that this baby deserves more, and it will. So whenever I do decide to have a child, guys, and if I ever do, maybe I don't want to be a mom, who knows, I know from experience how to handle my children, and I'm gonna be a way better mother than my mom was. My mom did good. For you guys don't really know much about her. There's a lot actually that goes into why she is the way that she is, so I won't say much, but because I don't have what she has, I know what kind of mom I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be compassionate, I'm gonna be understanding, I'm just gonna be a lot of things, and I'm gonna be loyal, and I'm gonna I already know what I need to do, whether I adopt or whether I have my child. And one thing I do want to mention, guys, the reason why I didn't do adoption is simply because that was totally out of the question. I didn't even think about it. I'm not going to carry my child for 9 months and get stretch marks, which I will, for somebody else to carry, to keep. And that wasn't going to happen. The point is that I just didn't want to carry somebody's child. It wasn't about that. So I'm not going to do that. And also, adoption is not how you guys think it is. It's not. It's better, obviously, for newborns, but I don't want my baby to be just another number, and I don't want it to be like a auction. That's just not what I want. I was in foster care when I was younger. I know how the process goes if you don't get picked. And I wasn't in foster care as a baby, okay? I was in there as an older kid, and it's horrible. People were getting raped, molested. I was protected because I had my big brother with me, but other people were not so lucky. And we were having to protect them also. So for that reason, I understand the public system has failed us as a people, and a lot of people have failed as people. So yeah, guys, that was my little spiel. And anyway, like I said, I'm just remembering things, so I'm like, okay, let me bring it up, just do it all in this one long ass video. You know my style. So yeah, guys, I love you so much. Thank you guys for being patient. Thank you for all the well wishes. You guys have not gone unnoticed. I have a totally new respect for this channel and its subscribers. Like, believe me, after this happened, it's honestly opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I love you guys for that. And I thank you so much for literally tuning in to my shenanigans. And I will be posting vlogs back on this channel. They may go on this channel, they may go on the next. Just look for the arrows. You guys already know how I do. So yeah, I love y'all. I will talk to you later. Until the next time. Bye bye.